Hi there, it's Nicole for Handmade Holiday 2015, and my project today features 6 gift card envelopes using the Essentials by Ellen North Pole stamp set and the Mama Elephant Lucky envelope die. And basically, with just a few additional supplies, that's all I've used. To start these, I'm going to be die cutting my envelopes from some Simon Says stamp, Schoolhouse red cardstock, khaki cardstock, and Nina Solar white cardstock. And from a half a sheet of paper, I'm going to be able to get 2 of these gift card envelopes. So you can get quite a few envelopes from a single sheet of paper. You could actually get 4 if you wanted to make even more. I decided to do an assortment here of envelopes today, so I'll just have 2 of each color. Then I am going to take the Misty stamping tool and then making a couple little marks to line this up perfectly every time. But I'm going to hold my envelope in place, and to start, I'm going to line up this stamp image from the Essentials by Ellen North Pole stamp set, lay it in place, flip the cover over it to pick it up. And then taking a little Post-it tape, I am going to place that over that little dashed line underneath the top line of text. This is so that I can have 2 colors of ink on the envelope itself. It's very subtle and adds just a little touch of fun. I'll ink that up and then flip the cover closed to ink it up. Now, if it doesn't stamp all of the way, like maybe part of the image doesn't transfer, you can always ink it up again and flip it over, and it's going to stamp in exactly the same spot. Again, I'm going to ink up that image, have that Post-it tape in place, and then if you forget to remove the Post-it tape, you can see what happens. I kind of left that there just so to show you to remember to remove that Post-it tape. If you're doing any masking at all, you want to make sure that you remove the Post-it tape, otherwise you're going to completely ruin your envelope. So that was just kind of a little of what not to do. Obviously, I learned that the hard way. So you always want to make sure that when you're doing this, you put the Post-it tape in place, ink it up, remove that Post-it tape, set it aside. You can use it more than once, and then ink up the design. Now here's an example of maybe it didn't stamp very well. So go ahead, put that Post-it tape back in place, and then you can ink it up again. Now very quickly, you can see once you have that process down, I'm just going to go ahead and get all of these stamped really fast. Reusing my Post-it tape, inking up the design with the Lawn Fawn Black Licorice ink, press that in place, move that to the side, grab another envelope, and just keep stamping these. With the Misty tool, it's going to stamp in exactly the same place every single time. You might have to use a little additional Post-it tape too. Once it gets too inked up, the ink can seep through the design a little bit. So just grab a new piece, mask it off real fast, and then keep stamping. Go ahead and grab my 2 red envelopes real quick and do the same thing. These are going to stamp much, much easier if you keep the envelope flat and don't fold it on any of those score lines. Wait to do that until all of your stamping is finished. Those little pencil marks I made there make it so much easier to know exactly where I need to line up that lower left corner so that it stamps in exactly the same place every single time. Remove my Post-it tape, press that in place. Now, for the little dashed strip, what I'm going to do is make sure that my stamp is super, super clean. So I'm going to put a little cleaner on there, dab it all up, let it dry really good. I'm going to go ahead and keep my red envelope in place, and I'm going to start with this one. And now I'm going to mask off the area above and below that line, those little dashed lines there, or diagonal lines. And on the red envelope, I'm going to ink that up with Yeti white pigment ink and press that in place. And you can see that it gives a cute little white line there. And I chose to do it in white on the red envelopes because I'm doing it in red on the khaki and white envelopes. Again, ink that up with white, clean off my stamp real good, put my masks back in place, grab the lobster red ink, remove the masks, flip the cover over and stamp that right there on the khaki envelope. I'll do it again for the other khaki envelope. The magnets hold the paper in place. Again, ink it up with lobster red ink from Lawn Fawn. I'll do the same thing for the white envelopes. Reuse my masks. Ink that up again. Remove the masks really quickly. Flip that over. And then I just have one more envelope to do. And then the main design is all stamped. There is not a ton left here. I do want to stamp the Santa in the Sleigh with the Reindeer, also from the North Pole Essentials by Ellen stamp set. And so I'm going to do a little masking for it as well, but not really to mask off any portion of the design, but rather mask off areas on the envelope itself so that only the portions kind of on that main panel are inked up. So I'll add a little masking to these three areas since it's a little longer than the width of the envelope. I'm going to put that right where I'm going to want it to stamp, pick it up, and then I'm going to ink it up with the Lawn Fawn Black Licorice ink. I am going to be stamping it with the black licorice ink on each of the envelopes, so that's going to make it a little quicker and easier. I'll stamp that, and it didn't stamp really good. That was the first time it had ever been stamped, so sometimes it doesn't give the best inked impression, so you can always ink it up again and stamp it again because it's going to stay in exactly the same place, which is awesome. I'll move on to my next white envelope. Again, I'm just going to reuse my masks. Ink it up and close the cover, press that in place, remove my masks again, and then I will do the other 4 envelopes exactly the same. Go ahead and put my masks back in place for the khaki envelope. I just love this tool because it makes it so easy to create multiples. This would be a lot harder if you were just trying to line it up every single time. But when all the guesswork is taken out of it for you, it just makes it so super easy to get it exactly where you need it to go each and every time. As long as you don't move the stamp on the cover there and you place your paper exactly in the same place each time, it's going to stamp it in exactly the same place each time. Just such an amazing tool. You want to remember to do this assembly line style. It does make it go much quicker. So as I did, I die cut all the envelopes and then I stamped all the main portion of the design. Then I stamped the accent strip in a different color. And now I'm finishing with the remaining part of the design, or stamped design, the Santa and reindeer. And then I am going to add one additional stamped image, but I don't need to do any masking for it, and that's just going to be the cute little seal from the Essentials by Ellen North Pole stamp set. And that's going to be on the back of the envelope, but again, I'm going to stamp it while the envelope is flat. Place that where I want it to go. Then I'm going to ink that up with the Yeti white pigment ink for the red envelopes. Very fast. This has no masking, so it's simply just stamping each of these images really quickly. For the khaki and white envelopes, I'm going to stamp this in red instead of the white. I thought the white would show up better on the red Just a fun little accent that on the back of the envelope. Now on that line on the front of the envelope that says to, it's left empty, obviously, so you can fill it in with the recipient's name. I did just a great design that's already ready to go. Great for tags or gift card envelopes like I'm doing here today. And I'm almost finished with my stamping. I'll ink up this last one. Now to put my envelopes together, I am using some double-sided adhesive tape from ThermaWeb. This is a 1/4 of an inch wide double-sided tape that I'm placing on the flaps. So I do the long side first and it goes inside the envelope, and then I'm going to fold that outer, or the bottom edge rather, over the back of the envelope. So there's what it looks like all put together. And then I'll wrap a little lawn trimmings red sparkle twine around the envelope. This is something you definitely don't have to do. It's cute as is, but if you want to add a little something extra to it, I'm wrapping the twine around it, and then I'm going to thread a silver jingle bell to this twine and tie it in a little bow. Just kind of dresses it up a little bit more. So here's that little jingle bell, thread that through. You could do more than one if you wanted to. Originally I thought I'd do 2, but I thought they maybe were a little too big for the size of these envelopes, so I went ahead and just used the 1. Then you can just snip those ends of the twine off so they're not quite so long, and the envelope is all finished. So there's that one I put 2 on. I went ahead and just took off that larger jingle bell, and I think I like the 1 just a little bit better. Very fun, very easy, and a great last-minute way to dress up gift card envelopes. Thanks for watching this video featuring the Handmade Holiday 2015 series, creating your own gift card envelopes with stamps. Here's a couple more videos you might be interested in watching on my channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.